Alexander Mattison. He was running back 60 last year, had about 100 rushes, 462 yards, one rushing touchdown. What are your thoughts around Alexander Mattison?
I like this kid. I know the Vikings like this kid. He has a slightly different skill set than Dalvin Cook, but not a whole lot, guys. Like it is thunder and thunder with this one, and both of them have some giddy up to show that lightning quick speed. But Madison is very much like Dalvin Cook, in my opinion, from what I've seen, and they are very comfortable having him step in. Like the Vikings last year were not worried at all when Cook went down because Madison was there. It was only after Madison went down, and then you have Boone and is it C.J. Ham, I believe, kind of trying to split carries there as they're finishing up the season. That's where some of the worry crept in on kind of the fantasy world. But they had no problem saying, okay, Cook's dinged up. We're trying to, save him. Let's give the ball to Mattison. So in that 50-50 split that the Minnesota ran last year, I could see them being very similar to that this year. And you're not going to see Boone get the ball. You're not going to see CJ Ham get the ball. It'll be Dalvin Cook runs, he gets 2 or 3 series, and then Mattison comes in for one and this, that, and the other. So I expect his finishing position to be up closer to, honestly, I think it's going to be closer to about 40, if not higher, just due to, I think he's going to see a little bit better yards per carry. I think his touchdowns are going to creep up a little bit. Instead of 1, he might end up with 4 or 5 kind of falling into the end zone because they feel more confident spelling Dalvin Cook around the goal line if they have to. But this kid he's a very good back. And when the time comes, if the Vikings choose not to give Dalvin Cook the big payday, I do think they're extremely confident in what they have in Alexander Mattison.
Again, you have to think, Mattison, rookie year last year. It doesn't really always click for these guys, especially not, he wasn't exactly highly touted in terms of, being a first-round prospect or whatever for the Minnesota Vikings. So, for him to come in and do what he did, and, he gets to sit behind him and evaluate and learn. He gets another system or another year with Kubiak and talking and figuring out this zone scheme. To me, Madison's value last year was as the handcuff. I kind of see Mattison, I guess this year, maybe not so much as the handcuff, but a viable RB2, RB3, because I think they are going to be a little bit more balanced and try to manage that workload of Dalvin Cook a little bit. And so Madison's going to have some value on his own right, not just as the handcuff. But it would be beneficial to you if you do have Dalvin Cook to have Alexander Mattison because Cook hasn't proven that he can play the full 16. And so you don't want to be left with a gaping hole there. But you don't have to spend in a fantasy draft a ton of capital to get an Alexander Mattison type who very easily could be, their starting running back should Cook go down. He's going to get that workload, and the Vikings are going to be very comfortable in handling that. For some inside football, I pay a lot of attention to the Vikings because they're the team in this region, and there's a lot of fans up here. So I'm very familiar with them just as much as I am with the Eagles or the Broncos. I'm probably more familiar with the Eagles and the Vikings than I am with the Broncos, but the Vikings are very comfortable with Alexander Mattison. Going into year 2, you probably expect him to have a little bit more understanding, which then increases his availability to play more downs. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kubiak gets a wild hair and throws a package out there where both of those guys are on the field, because you can do so many things with them and be so multiple in your looks.
Yeah, absolutely. If Cook goes down, I think Alexander Mattison instantly becomes a top 15 running back. He may not quite be that RB1, but he will be a damn good upside RB2. So he is absolutely worth a play to, you're absolutely drafting the guy. If you have Cook, you'd like to be able to stash him. But if he goes down, you will be able to plug and play Alexander Mattison with zero concern.
No, that's spot on. That's kind of how I see him there too. I see him as very much a handcuff kind of option. should Dalvin Cook play all 16 games, I see Alexander Mattison probably right around running back 54. Like I see them getting some usage in there and being able to spell Dalvin. But if Dalvin's healthy and playing all 16 games, I don't know that he finishes higher than about running back 50. But absolutely, if he goes down, he's an instant shoot up the boards kind of guy, and he's a guy that will be in the top 20 conversation easily.